And we are live. Hello, good evening,
Hello.
everybody.
Hello, hello.
Happy Wednesday. If it's your first time here, welcome to Wind Down Wednesday with Amelia and Felix. We do this every Wednesday at this time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We usually share a glass of wine. Well, not share, we have our own glasses of wine. And we invite you to have a glass with us. Hey, Jeremy. And we talk about important topics. And so I'm just going to let people pop on. But again, if it's your first time here, give us a hello. Sometimes we can't see who pops on until you make a comment. So comment with us, engage with us. If you're watching this on a replay, give us a hashtag replay. And tonight's topic is about self-care, but specifically, how do we self-care during unprecedented times, right? And right now, we are in unprecedented times. Well, we've been in unprecedented times for a while, but with everything that's been going on with the protests all over the world and the Black Lives Matter movement, the death of George Floyd, Tony McDade, Breonna Taylor, countless others, and plus the global trauma of COVID-19, where we witnessed death on a massive scale. And someone is about to FaceTime me, so I'm just like, don't call me right now. Okay, I got scared. Okay, so yeah, death on a massive scale, people being sick, just quarantined, needing to stay at home. So there's trauma there. There's a lot going on there. Plus witnessing a horrible murder, just all over social media. It's rough, and there's a lot going on. And so I really wanted to talk about how do we self-care during these unprecedented times, and also just education on ways that you can help. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being willing to do the work for yourself and for others. And yeah, I'm just gonna jump right in, and I feel like unless you want to say something to welcome everyone.
No, just thank you for being here. I know this has been just nationally a very difficult time, a difficult moment in time for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I have hope that we come out of this stronger than ever. So I'm happy that whoever's watching is watching, and yeah, we're gonna talk about self-love and in this space right now that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. So self-care, how do we self-care during unprecedented times like this? So I'll just kind of say what's been going on for me. So if you know me, if you follow my work, you know that I am not silent on Black Lives Matter. I'm not silent on social justice issues. I've been talking about them for a really long time, pretty like fiery, passionate. Um, and that work has not stopped. That is something that is fundamentally part of my work. It's part of my heart. My biggest values in my company, in my business, and in my soul are honesty, truth, beauty, justice, truth, truth. And so I will always fight for the truth. And so that hasn't stopped. However, with the trauma of COVID-19, a lot of you know I lost 2 family members back to back the same week. That was the anniversary of my mom's death. So on a personal front, just, my travel plans were completely ripped out from underneath me, like the rug ripped out from underneath me. So a lot was going on there. And then seeing that video and seeing so many posts and like the protests and all of the brutality that's going on, it's a lot. I have been posting a lot. If you're looking for resources, we'll talk about that in a bit. But I also post a lot every day, multiple times a day on my Instagram. So if you don't know it, I'm just going to pop it right here on the screen. But I post a lot all day, every day about it with resources, education, all of that stuff. So if you need to educate yourself, definitely take a look there, but there's so many and we'll talk about them in a bit. But also, how do I self-care with that? I don't do that all day long because I have to protect my energy. And if I truly want to be someone that gives, I believe in giving from my overflow and not giving from my depletion. And so I have, even though I do post all day long, every day on social media, I take breaks. And in fact, today, I slept for most of the day, and Felix and I were chatting right before we popped on live, and like you said, you fell asleep early yesterday. I just was like done, like emotionally just done. I fell asleep early. I slept for a long time last night, and then even today, I just kept taking naps, like 2 3 hour naps. I would wake up, do a little bit of work, and then go back to sleep. And I used to feel really guilty about naps. I don't know about you or any of you watching, but I felt no guilt today because I was like, these are unprecedented times. Like shit is going down.
Yeah.
So to me, so that's just one tip that I'll share. And I'll have more, but I want to hear from Felix too. But, rest. Don't be a keyboard warrior and on all day long, all night long. If you're going to the protests, please like research and like know how
Yeah.
to protect yourself from tear gas, how to like just really take care of yourself and each other. Felix, how about you? How has self-care been looking like for you these last few days?
I honestly like it's really tough to talk about. I know it's really tough to talk about self-care and especially during these moments of just rage and there's everyone's like they're not just killing black people anymore. They're killing black communities. They're killing black possibilities. They're killing and I'm always in awe at what the focus becomes that is less important than the people that are actually losing their lives out here. Um, for me, it's being with the discomfort. I found myself multiple times wishing that things were normal, and then I was like, no, I actually I I don't desire to go back to that normal, right? Like the world right now needs to listen to us because this has gone on for too long. Like it's not okay. It's just not okay to kill someone, especially like he was detained. He was on the ground, like, and this is we're using George Floyd in order to convey a message. But the thing is, like, this is about humanity, right? So like where in you is your humanity that you can't be like, oh shit, I'm just like I'm busting his windpipe. You know what I'm saying? Like this is to me, it's insane that you are so numbed out from the present that you can actually do that to another person.
Yeah,
So going back to self love, for me, self love right now, it looks like taking care of it looks like donating and speaking up and doing what you can, however you can, for the cause. Right now, self care looks more like ourselves than just self care. For me, what makes me feel good is to learn, right? Like I myself like have experienced racism, like, but I also understand that I also have certain privileges that I don't like. My skin is not as dark, so I have certain privileges that other people don't. So for you to like, I saw a little girl be like crying because she realized, I don't know how old she was probably like 11. She realized that she could be killed for the color of her skin. Do you understand like what kind of fear you need to have, like to be walking in the world that you fear that you can be killed because of just like you didn't choose your skin, you know. So for me, it's been so on a personal level, self care has been just allowing myself to feel and
Mm,
allowing myself to be uncomfortable and then doing something with that. Um, and no, like it's not natural. So no, I don't want to go back to normal. I want to like so I learned today that all the 50 states actually have been protesting,
yeah,
and that's history.
yeah,
So we need to this right here cannot like we need to continue breathing into this movement because this is the only way that things are going to change. Things need to change. Like it's enough. Like when is enough enough? This is enough.
yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I saw that too. And it was like, when was the last time all 50 states participated in something? But not beyond the 50 states. People I posted a video earlier showing some peaceful protests all over the world. And never before have I seen Black Lives Matter be international. Um, and everyone, well, not everyone, right? Because then there's still people who are making other kind of arguments. And so for me too, just back to self-care and what I do, um, well, let me back up a little bit. I watched a video with Carolyn Miss today. It's like it's like about 20 minutes long. But the nuggets that I took away from that is like, yes, there are going to be the marauders and the looters, the people
Yeah,
that are
opportunists.
that's the word I'm looking for, opportunists. So they're always going to be there. However, and of course, certain media outlets and certain political whatever
Yeah,
and communities will spin it a certain way,
absolutely.
and that can discourage. And I've felt discouraged over the last few days about that. But she made a great point. There's always going to be those people, but don't let that take our eyes off the prize. And that's what you said. You're like we got to keep going. And she mentions it like, yes, there's going to be, she called them the fringe people. There's always going to be the fringe
But
shitty people.
and also
But there's still
the
going to be, yeah, but there's
protesters
still
are
going to be
sorry.
the river of light that's
Yeah,
going in the direction that we want. The peaceful protesters,
yeah.
the activists, the advocates, the allies, all of that. So part of my self-care is focusing on that, not from a place of being, because like I'm very optimistic. I'm a very positive person, and I've been accused of being like not realistic and naive. And I just humbly, not so humbly disagree. I'm not stupid. I'm not naive, but I will focus on the positive because I know that is how we keep this momentum going. And so, yes, there's going to be those fringe people, but there's a lot of great momentum happening. And so for me, I focus on that. And while I do get into it sometimes in the comments and like in conversations with people, it's a balance, right? Like I'm in the fight and I'm speaking up and I'm speaking out. And then, when I got to reload my energy, then I got to pull back and I got to be like, if I notice that I'm talking to a brick wall, then I'm like, look, you're a brick wall. I don't talk to brick walls. I'm going to exit the situation. I'm going to call in someone else. So it like, this is like war, you
Yeah.
know? So those are the things of self-care, like while I'm in action that I'm doing. And I love that you said taking action is also self-love. Like I've definitely donated to several of the different funds that you can donate to. And again, we'll talk about some of those
Well,
options.
yeah.
Um, I've had people reach out to me and ask me questions, and we're doing a lot of unpacking right now. A lot of unpacking. I've posted a couple of articles. So there's a lot to do, and there's a lot to also self-care. We got to take care of ourselves in the
Absolutely.
middle of it all. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
I, I I was gonna say that it's I think there's always a justification for doing something that in your heart you know is shitty. Like you wanna focus on, oh, this is not the right way to do it. And I'm like, no, we get it, it's not everyone that's doing that. And also take a look that there's also protesters that are stopping people. There are people also that are infiltrating into protests, and there are white people that are infiltrating into protests that are causing havoc, like that are starting riots, that are starting like. And also let's look at America's history of rioting and looting. Like, come on, people
America
riot.
is
People
looted.
riot. People riot. I'm sorry. People riot when their teams win, when their teams lose. People riot over dumb shit. This is actually something that like is affecting the world. Like, we no longer are standing for a world that is going to be dividing us by race.
Yeah.
Like, and one thing that I love is that, and I know like there's not all white people, right? But there's like white voices that are actually speaking up. Like, this is it. Like, come on. Like, we're tired. Like, I did nothing yesterday and I was exhausted. I am not even. I don't even want to work. Like, I don't even want to. I don't want to work.
Yeah, actually, and because I'm in the online space. Well, you're in the online space too,
Yeah.
and one of my mentors, and well, not just one of my mentors, and a bunch of my mentors, they've made announcements saying they're pausing like marketing, communications,
I'm
all of
not
that
marketing.
stuff. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because we're unpacking, we're healing, we're doing necessary work to fix all this crap, and there is no one size fits all. Speaking of self-care, I love one of my friends, Kat. Hey, Kat, if you ever watch this, she wrote this amazing post about how we all can have our role. And I like to think of things in terms of like pop culture because it helps me kind of understand things. And I think of like video games, right? And you have, or even just soccer teams, football teams. Like, not everyone is the striker, not everyone is the goalie. Like, there's different roles that we can play. And for me, self care is knowing my role and the role that I am good at and the role that I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we're not in self care from that perspective, we can try to be all things to all people during this
Yeah.
time and get overwhelmed of like, oh my God, I have to read all these books and I have to watch all these documentaries and I have to post all these things and I have to take this anti racism course and all of that stuff. And for me, what I would say to that is just like, we all have a role to play. Find out what your role is. Sometimes your role is like, one day your role is gonna look like speaking up to that racist uncle at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Another day your role is gonna look like donating money to Black Lives Matter or a bailout fund. Another day, your role is going to look like watching When They See Us on Netflix and like really understanding what's going on, or 13th on Netflix. Another day, your role is going to look like sleeping. Like today, most of my day was sleeping, and I posted some stuff, but and I had a couple of conversations, but I mostly slept. So just know your role and choose a role and do that role really well for that moment in time, and just like keep that momentum going in the right direction and keep focusing on that. Something about this time feels different to me. I've been talking about that with a few of my friends. Like, like I said, I've never seen the entire world protesting for this, and again, all 50 states. So, and I've also seen a lot of people, especially white people, on my timelines and feeds saying, like, speaking up in amounts that I have never seen before during times where they've been silent for like the last, however, 10 years. And I'm seeing them saying things. And what I will say to that is keep talking, keep speaking up, keep doing the work. And here's the thing. Hi, Betty. Like, yeah, just keep doing something. And if you have not been doing this work for the last, I don't know, however long you've been alive, like, do more. Do more. Um,
The
don't just like like something, don't just post a black square on social media. That's not enough. Like, take action, have the difficult conversations, and don't be a victim about it. Like, I'm part of this group called White People Doing Something, and it just started like last week when all of this happened, and now there's like 12,000 or so people in it. And I still see so many self-centered posts, and I have to consistently be like, no, but this isn't about you. Like, the one that I saw most recently was a white woman that was like, I really want to help. Wait, let me not use a voice to mock her.
So here's the thing, right? The opportunities are out there. You don't even have to look for them. Just be in space, and you're gonna see the opportunities show up. Just be available for the opportunities. They will show up.
But even before the opportunity, like, it depends, because everyone watching this will be at different levels in their journey. Before the opportunity, like, really, like, look at yourself. Like, look at yourself. So what I was sharing about was the most recent thing that I saw in this 12,000 person group was this white woman posted, and she said, I really want to help the Black Lives Matter movement, but my Black friends aren't understanding that I really get what they're going through. And they don't understand. They keep telling me, oh, if you're not Black, you don't get it. But I know what that's like, because I was the only white family who grew up, I don't remember what country, but she grew up in some other country where her family was the only white family. And so they were discriminated or whatever. And so she was like, but I understand what Black people are going through. And I really want to, I want them to know that I understand. So how can I make them understand? And I commented, I literally was like, why do you have to make them understand? Like, first of all, no, you don't. First of all, no, your isolated situation is not systemic.
Hilarious.
Second of all, when you're supporting someone, do you need them to do you need them to know that you understand their pain? Like, do you go to your friend's funeral, family funeral, and be like, I really want you to understand that I know what you're going through, because I've had, what the hell kind of self-centered support is that? And I called it out. I just was like, first of all, this self-centeringness, this is what we need to unpack. And so, and not just white people, anyone, Filipinos, we got it too. I had to unpack a lot of my own shit, going through, and I still do. I uncover stuff all the time because it's systemic. And a lot of people, I think they call it white savior or whatever, where it's like, I really want to help. Oh my God, I feel so bad. It's like, first of all, stop those feelings, stop those tears. That's not serving anything. It's
about you. Like, come on. I really want to help, but I don't know how. And it's like, you're stuck in that.
Yeah.
Maybe get out of that.
Yeah.
You'll see something different.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that we're let's talk about some resources that, I have a bunch. Again, there are so many. Like I said, hop onto my Instagram. I'm always posting things. I'm also always posting things here on Facebook. But shout out to Momentum Education, which is how Felix and I know each other. But they sent out an amazing email on Monday. And right now I'm not on my phone, but I will comment these screenshots on this live just so you can see. But one thing you can do, you can donate to bailout funds and Black Lives Matter movement, Minnesota Freedom Fund, Black Lives Matter, Girls for Gender Equity. I'm going fast because I'm still going to share this, but
you're doing good.
Johnson Institute. So that's one way you can donate. If you don't have money to donate, I actually saw something. I have to find it. There's actually a YouTube video that someone created where the ad revenue from that video will go towards the movement. And so there's kind of rules around it because of how YouTube works, but it's like, you can just watch the video, don't skip the ads, because that's how the video makes money, from the ads. So you don't skip the ads, and then you don't watch it over and over again. You have to at least watch it and then watch 3 other videos, and then you can go back to that. So I'll have to find that video too. So if you don't have money, you can You can donate money with your time by watching that video. There's a lot of different organizations. And then also, speaking of self-care, get your own self-care. There's tons of resources for online therapy for marginalized and intersectional communities.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resources for inclusive therapists, as well as COVID-19 mental health resources. I've also been really inspired by all of the light workers and healers that I've been seeing. Actually, Betty, who's on right now, has been doing, I believe it's a daily prayer. So on her page, so if you see Dr. Betty on this comments, she has a wonderful Zoom that I believe is daily, with daily COVID-19 prayer, and you can make prayer requests and things
Call
like
me Alex.
that. Yeah, I saw that.
That's funny.
In terms of like reading, I mean, there's so many, like Rachel Cargill on Instagram. There's so many people on Instagram that you can follow. There's a lot of like anti-racism courses that you can take. One that I found that's actually pretty beautiful is antiracismforbeginners.com. And I also posted that on my Facebook, it's all one word, antiracismforbeginners.com. And it's this beautifully done document that has all kinds of resources, books to read, things like that. If you're a more visual person, definitely, watch 13th on Netflix, When They See Us. I know that some people criticize some of these things. I know like a lot of people, like The Hate U Give, which is on Cinemax. I heard a lot of people didn't like that one, but I actually really liked that movie. King in the Wilderness on HBO, If Beale Street Could Talk on Hulu, Dear White People on Netflix, tons of books to read, White Fragility, How to Be an Anti-Racist, the new Jim Crow. I'll post all these in the comments, but the resources are out there. So, just look for them, find them. Oh, and please, like, don't ask people of color and especially Black people to do the emotional labor for you. If you need to, at least kind of ask permission first. Like I actually had someone ask me, I think it was today or yesterday, I don't even remember, the days are blending together, but they were like, hey, I want your opinion on something, but it might require emotional labor around all this stuff. So I was able to kind of like prepare myself, right? But a lot of people are like DMing your Black friends and like all this. It's just like, no, like they know, and actually what you said earlier, Felix, about like, oh, returning to normal. Yes, in a lot of ways, what's going on right now is not normal. Global pandemic plus global protests, not normal. However, the injustices that Black people are facing is normal. So that is where we want to like change the normal. And so this is their normal. So don't like text them being like, I'm so shocked. Like don't do that. Just don't do that. I don't know, what else do we have to say? Let's see. Let's look at some comments here. I'm feeling the energy of the collective, Jeremy says here. Thanks for acknowledging that, because I was so drained yesterday. Yes. If you're feeling drained, normal, totally normal. Emotions, feelings, thoughts, they all take up real estate in our bodies. And we're like literally, what is this, month 4 of like a super traumatizing time. It's literally been back to back to back to back to back. Yeah. The images we're seeing on TV, on social media are freaking traumatizing. Traumatizing. The emotions, the energy, everything. Oh, listen, Shamik says, Shamik, where have you been? Listening to Obama today was very healing. First of all, Obama is just healing in general. Like his whole, like, just even thinking about Obama, I'm like, just knowing this man exists is very healing. I love that. Jeremy says he unpacked today. Yeah, there's a lot of unpacking to do, not just for white people, for a lot of people. Dr. Betty says take action, get educated. Absolutely. Donate, read, have conversations, protest, all of that. Love your conversation. Thank you, Betty. Yep, focus on what's most important. I love this. Focus on what you can. But like I said, for white people, like do more. like do some heavy lifting, you know, because sometimes when I say self-care, you know, because white people are used to centering themselves and like, you know, like they'll like take a little bit too much liberty, in my humble opinion, not so humble opinion. And it's like, no, not you. You can do some heavy lifting, you know, because Black people, people of color, Indigenous people have been doing a lot of heavy lifting for centuries. So yes, please take the wheel, do some heavy lifting, but also don't use this as an opportunity to like center your voice and your thoughts. So figure it out. You're smart to figure out the balance between that. Jeremy says, I feel the energy high and strong. I feel like I'm being watched and stared at on the subway. I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope you're safe. I know you're safe. But yes, emotions are high right now. So a lot of us are like in this fight or flight stress mode. And so, you know, back to self-care. Give yourself time to unwind, especially if you're going to the protests. Like, give yourself time to unwind when you're done. Take care of each other. Like, I don't know if you said this exactly, but something you said made me think of this. Like, what does self-care look like? And for me, it looks like taking care of my community, taking care of my people. Like, I'm just checking in on my friends. How are you doing? And just having real intimate conversations with them. Just like, I love you. I care about you. Giving money. I give a lot of money. I'm just always like Venmoing people money. Actually, a couple years ago, I'll Venmo you, Felix. Okay. You are not a Black woman. I will not.
True. Venmo someone on my behalf.
I got you. I'll do that. I'll Venmo someone. So yeah, a couple of years ago, I started this practice where every Monday is like Giving Monday, and I'll just like I create like this list of like Black owned and women owned and queer owned businesses and entrepreneurs that I love, that I follow, small businesses, and I'll just donate. I'll just send money, and I'll just be like, or even to my friends, like, just because it's just a good thing to do, and in my opinion, and I love the phrase "vote with your dollars."
Oh yeah.
I always. And not always, and I'm not perfect at this because, yes, I still order from Amazon sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not perfect. But I always like try to research who owns a company and who ultimately benefits from a company. And if it's woman of color owned, if it's person of color owned, Black owned, queer owned, like, they will get all the monies. Because that's how I vote. I mean, I vote by actually voting in elections, but also we vote with our dollars.
We vote with our dollars. We vote with our attention. We vote with our focus. We vote in many different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I did say, like, you know, taking care of ourselves is a form of self-care. You see, it's the idea of doing unto others as you would do to yourself. To me, it feels really good to be there for someone. So I put effort into checking in and like, and also giving in any way that I can.
Yeah. I love this. Jeremy says we vote with our dollars. That's deep. Yeah. It's been a really great practice.
Oh, so the primaries are, I think the primaries are.
There was some yesterday for, oh yeah, I screenshotted that too.
So we vote.
Yeah.
This is the time we gotta vote.
Distracted. We gotta vote with our real votes, and then we gotta vote with our dollars, with our time,
and with our attention,
with our energy, with our attention, with our love. Yeah. So what else do I want to say? Oh, something else Carolyn Miss said, and you kind of touched on it earlier about when someone, like with George Floyd, he was like literally begging for his life. And like, I love how Carolyn Miss said it in the video I saw. She was like, when mercy is requested, or like, he was crying out for mercy essentially, and it was denied. And like, that is something that I don't understand. But so many people are blind to that because some people saw that video and like, I don't know, felt nothing. Or people are seeing these protests and are like, well, that's not the right way to do. It's just like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, what are you focusing on?
There were people that were talking, that were bringing up how George Floyd was like he was in prison or jail or whatever, and I'm
He
like,
he had like a counterfeit bill or something, or like, I don't know, something like
no,
that.
but there were people that were focusing on
Oh,
his
and he was,
past
yeah.
as to justify that it was okay for him to be killed.
Well, just like people, like when women, or not just women, but when people are sexually assaulted, it's like, well, what was she wearing and all that stuff. I think it's just, it just doesn't make sense. And actually, someone, I think it was Jason, that on Quarantine Cafe, on Raphael's Quarantine Cafe, shout out to Raphael and Quarantine Cafe. He was like, it's brutal because they kill us twice. So they actually kill them physically, and then after they're dead, they kill their memory by saying, like, pulling up criminal history and all. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Anyway, that talk could be like for hours, but self-care too is like, look, I know a lot of people watching this don't fully agree with my, I won't even call them political views. I'm going to call them like freaking common sense human views. And I'm like, I don't understand how people get to this like mental masturbation point where you're literally seeing millions of people in the streets all over the world feeling passionately about something. And you're sitting there watching the TV all up in your head being like, well, if they believe it, then sure. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, what? Like, I just don't, like, we're so, not we, but so many people are so like in this devil's advocate, mental masturbation, intellectual thing, like so disconnected from your heart and your soul. And it's just, I just don't understand. I just don't understand it. Which maybe I'm not supposed to, which actually brings me to another point, and maybe this is the final point that I'll make. So some of you know I was a speaker, well, I'm still a speaker, but like I was a speaker in the college market. And through my training, one thing that I always had to remember is that your audience, however big, whether it's 5 people or 5,000 people, your audience will always be broken up into categories where 33% of them are going to stand the shit out of you. They're going to love everything that you say. They're going to be like, this is amazing. They're going to be like, you're the best speaker ever. I learned so much. You know, those 33%, they're on your team. Then there's going to be 33% that are just not going to agree. They're just going to be like, this is dumb. This is stupid. I'll never agree with you. Then there's the 1%, which again, the marauders, the opportunists that are just going to be hecklers and be totally shitty. Actually had a speaking engagement where like the whole audience were hecklers, which that was an experience. But anyway, but then there's the 33% that are in the middle. And so like I was taught, and this is what I employ, or this is how I approach all my videos, everything. I'm speaking for that 33%. I'm speaking for that 33% that either is indifferent or doesn't know or isn't sure, that can potentially be tipped over to the agreement side. I'm not worried about the people that are going to disagree no matter what. And that's why I said the thing about the brick walls. Like, I'll just be like, look, you're a brick wall right now. So like, I'm just not, this is the waste of my time, both of our time, right? The 1%, I mean, whatever, like, bye. So that's what I'm focused on, right? And that's why like when I post things, you know, and people get into this like devil's advocate, or they slide into my DMs and they're like, oh, I saw what you posted the other day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, where did you go? Okay, there you are. That was like, then it wasn't for you. That post was not for you. So it's not all about you. Like I post for various different reasons, and there's different intentions behind what I post and what I say. Yes, 1% by Felicia. Exactly, Jeremy. And yes, Shamik, people cannot accept their own racism. It's like, actually, Toby said this on my friend Toby said this on one of my other posts, where she was like, The people who only focus on the light because they're so close to the light cast a longer shadow. And it's when we're able to look at the shadows and the darkness that we can actually truly heal and transform. And I'm totally like paraphrasing what she said. This is my interpretation of what she said. But I just really loved it because, you know, there's a lot of people that are like, why is everyone focusing on the division? You know, these protests are just further dividing us. And it's just like, what do you mean further dividing us? It's bringing us together. We've been divided. Like, I don't know, like,
right.
I don't know what world you're living in. But anyway, so everything that I'm saying that I hope you're saying, it's for the 33%. Okay. So if you disagree, if you're a 1%er who is gonna just heckle and talk shit to me, I mean, do whatever you want. But I don't care. And that's self-care. I don't care is self-care.
Well,
Any final thoughts, Felix, as we wrap this up today?
yeah, no, I don't care is like, yeah, I care. I just don't care about your opinion because it's not moving the conversation forward. It's not helping any one of us. Therefore, I will not waste time on you because there are people out there that actually need to see or that can be moved and inspired to take action. So why would I spend time on you if you've already decided? There's people that are not that haven't decided, and those are the people that I'm looking to move.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing like talking to someone who's already agreed. Like I'm not gonna continue to sell someone that's already agreeing with me. Like we're gonna have like 30 minutes, hour conversations. Like no, you good. You're already with me. We're going the same way. All right, let me get some people that are not moving. Let me go get some people that are not moving because they don't right because they can move any other way. And you know we have people like Trump. We have like they say people are very persuasive, right? So we have to learn to move in a way that like we have to understand that we have to also sell this. I don't know if sell is like the but
I'm with it. I know a lot of people think sell is an icky word, but
no, but it's we need to we need to move
control.
together in this into a vision of a world that works for not only you, not like it's inclusive to everyone. Everyone can be here and everyone can live safely and everyone can be confident that when they're going to go into the streets, it's not going to be like they don't have to, they can actually be themselves, you know?
Yeah.
It's not okay. It's just not okay. Like even if it was a white person, if it was a whatever kind of person, it's not okay to kill
Yeah.
people. It's just not okay. In my model of what I want my world to look like, it's just not okay. And if you think it's okay, then like you need to really start looking at yourself. Like it's not okay, you know?
Yeah.
Not.
Well, there's something I'm thinking about, and I think we'll wrap up on this comment, but it's from a book called Tribal Leadership, and if you also look up the TED Talk Tribal Leadership, it's a 20-minute TED Talk about it, but it's basically about like we need to elevate from I to we. And the majority of our world is in an I, the stage of I'm great.
Right.
And I think that's where like Shamik was saying, let me just pull up his comment. So, Shamik is saying here, people cannot accept their own racism. It's because it's so self-centered. Like, because it's like, I cannot look at anything that makes me bad or that makes my thinking wrong. And so I'm just not going to look at it and just completely dismiss the experience of other human beings that are literally in my face telling me something different. And like to go from I to we have to like, okay, there's a we here. There's a collective experience here. And to even fathom that someone else can have an experience that we have no idea about, like, God, what would that be like? It would require us to step outside of ourselves and go from I to we. And Trump is like the ultimate representative of I
Well,
thinking.
yeah, he's no man.
I mean, he's a lot of things, but
I'm not.
also
Yeah,
Raphael is in the building.
I'm
What's
not
up?
gonna.
Hi,
So
Raphael.
I I I do want to take a minute to address this. So Jeremy asked, "Can I
Yeah.
ask a question about those white people who say all lives matter?" I have commented to their comment because I can't take what they're saying. All lives matter is like it's not relevant to the moment. It's just not. It's like saying it's like you having a fucked up arm and saying all your body parts matter. Like, yeah, but my arm is fucked up. Like, I don't care about, like, my arm is fucked up.
Yeah.
So like all lives matter is moot. Yeah, okay, all lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. So if all lives matter, Black lives matter.
Mm-hmm.
Can we
Yeah,
agree to
that
that?
response is just so dismissive. It's
Yeah.
you know what it is? It's like the disease of needing to be right.
Yeah.
Like
No,
people like
it's
two ears,
that.
one mouth. Like
It's
just
that.
how about you just listen?
How about you shut up
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
be with us?
Yeah,
How about
exactly.
you get down from there because you haven't been experiencing that Black lives are not mattering.
Yeah.
And we're saying Black lives matter. Come down from all lives matter because we get that all lives matter. But right now, we're focusing on Black lives because people are killing Black people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Woo! This was good. I self-care. So back to self-care. I mean, honestly, this conversation is very self-caring as well. Getting passionate with people who are just as passionate, lifting each other up, gathering in community is a big form of self-care. So I invite you to do that. Raphael, shout out to you again.
So
Quarantine
Raphael,
Cafe
yeah,
every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Quarantine Cafe. That and I will say with that, when I started joining that was so healing for me to gather in community with people who give a fuck, like period, right? Like let's stop calling Black Lives Matter political. Like it's like, how about just give a fuck?
it's
Let's
human.
give a shit about people.
It's
So
human.
I love gathering in community on Quarantine Cafe. If you want to join, definitely. Yep, love you. That's Raphael. Go to his page. He has the info on Quarantine Cafe every day at 11 o'clock. Gathering in community. Wind Down Wednesday, our growing community of people who just join us to have some wine and talk about self-love and shit that matters. Having like happy hour Zooms with my friends. Community is self-care. Taking a break from the internet is self-care.
Yeah,
Sleeping is self-care.
I just got a new pillow.
Raphael, I
Okay,
love it. Just give a fuck. Yes. We
just
love
give
you
a
at Quarantine Cafe. We love you. Just give a fuck. Why don't you give a shit movement? Yes, exactly. It's like, just give a shit. Like, get out of your freaking head of like
yeah,
intellectualizing this thing. Like, we literally are witnessing people being killed in like, what the get your head out of your ass, like, please. Self-care is getting your head out of your ass,
yeah,
doing anti-racism work. Yes, we all have to do it.
yeah.
We are the fish in the racist water and we're all wet, so we're all I'm gonna say that again.
Is a fish
We're
wet?
all wet. We're all wet. So don't be like, well, they think they're wet, but I'm dry. Like, yeah, maybe you're dry from like your cushy second home in the Hamptons or whatever, dude. Anyway, protect your energy, have the difficult conversations, refill your cup as needed, donate money. Giving money is self-care. I love giving money to causes I care about.
Be with the
Read.
discomfort and then do something about it.
Yep. Don't victimize and center yourself. Like, be with your feelings and then let's go.
Yeah.
And self-care is also, just to wrap
Yeah.
up, joining us.
Shower, take a bath, eat well, take your vitamins, omega 6, have a protein shake if you're low
Have
on
amazing
protein.
sex if you're lucky enough to have someone to have amazing sex with yourself. There you go.
Yeah, like practice self-love physically.
And
Have sex, smile, listen
Drink
to
water.
stand up.
Yep, laugh.
There are many ways. Laugh.
And oh, go ahead. Did you have more?
No, I'm done. And
Yeah.
also like do something. Do some shit that matters.
Do some shit that matters. And join us every Wednesday for Wind Down Wednesday, 9
Talk
p.m.
about self love.
6 p.m. Pacific, all about self-love, different topics. Sometimes we surprise you with the topic. Sometimes we tell you in advance. Today was kind of a surprise, but you're welcome.
Today was also like, come on, like,
yeah,
we can't talk about self-love. Like, we need to address what's happening now. Like, it's not like we can't be like, oh yeah, self-love this, and like, no, we need to, how would self-love look like now, given where we are now? So, you know, yeah, like, this is life. Life will surprise you sometimes, and sometimes we'll be like, yo, this is what we're talking about. But for today, this is what we did, and we're great. I'm so grateful that we did. It was a great conversation.
Me too. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, Castro, do some shit that matters and drink some wine and vitamin D. And
D3.
no,
Oh wow.
vitamin D.
No, he said vitamin D3. Oh wait, what? Oh yeah. Okay.
I know Jeremy, and I know what he meant. Just give a fuck. I love it. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you next week on Wind Down Wednesday.
Yes, we will.
Diggity. Let me just leave this here. Just check the comments. I'm going to post all the screenshots of all the things. And if I missed anything, just let me know and I'll paste it in the comments. But I love you all. See you next Wednesday.
Bye-bye.